Okay, hey everybody, welcome to this evening stream. This evening, as you can see from the title, we're going to be taking a look at the challenges that you can have in Crayta. So they're not new, they've been in Crayta for a while, but given the recent news that you may have seen announced on Discord about the way that challenges are going to integrate with the game much closer at some point in the future, I figured it's a pretty good chance to come forward and really start to get into more details around challenges. Not just about how you can create them, but about kind of ways to use challenges in your game and certain things about the API that we may have avoided in the past. But obviously also then maybe discuss a few things about what makes a good challenge and the sort of things we should be looking to do with that. So I'm joined by Adam this evening. So Adam, do you want to say hello?
Hello everyone.
Okay. So what we're going to do to start with here, obviously at any point if anyone does have any questions related to challenges or related to any of the news, Adam, I don't know if you've got that link handy, if you just want to share that in chat, just so people can kind of know what we're on about when I say the announcement and the news.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of a change to the way that the prize fund is going to work and some various things, so yeah, go check out the article at some point. But if you do have any questions about challenges, do ask in chat. We've got a couple of mods on hand who should hopefully be there ready to answer any questions to the best of their ability. There may be certain things we can't mention, but obviously don't hold back, ask questions and we'll answer what we can. Okay, so hopefully you can all see and hear everything okay. This is the first stream I've done this year. It's been a little while, so do let us know if there are any technical issues and I'll do my best to remedy those. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight into a new creation game. So let's create a new target practice. And the reason I'm going to use target practice is it's quite an interesting set of challenges associated with this one. So it's worth saying at this point that any of the starter games do come with challenges built in. Which is quite a cool way to learn about how they work and how they come together. This one's quite an interesting one, is that a lot of them use sort of the same event, and then there's various parameters and conditions based off of that will determine whether the player is successful. So it's quite an interesting example to take a look at. So let's jump in here and we'll call this challenge TP. Okay, we'll just pick a nice big cannon there. So I think what we're going to get in this stream is we're going to probably get quite a lot of me talking and a lot more of Adam in the background doing the building and stuff. So if you'd like to give Adam any suggestions for what you'd like to see him build, I'm sure he'd be willing to hear those and see what you can get together.
Go for it. Crazy ideas appreciated. I've got no idea what I'm building yet.
Cool. Okay, so because me and Adam were in a group, we're automatically joined together. So again, it's that sort of really great collaboration side of Crayta coming together here. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to grab my controller. Okay, so let's just jump into preview first, and we should see that we get a bunch of challenges complete when we do certain actions. So for example, let's make sure I don't miss. Let's hit that, and then I cross the line. Okay, so you should see now on the right hand side of the screen, you've got a bunch of things that have completed. So 2 challenges completed and 1 actually updated. So there's a progression to certain challenges where it might take several attempts before you actually get into kind of completing the challenge. So if we just start the race again, and let's do the same again, and we'll see this time we should only get 1 pop, which is just that 1 is updated. So even though I've done the same, I've got 100% accuracy and I finished in less than 30 seconds. It doesn't re-trigger the challenges. They're still remembered being there as done. So let's. I think at this point it's probably worth just explaining a little bit more about what a challenge is, because there's a few levels to the way that challenges kind of work within Crayta, and they might not be quite what people think at first. Let's just go back to. I'll go back to here. Let Adam have a little run around and do a bit of world.
Having fun there.
Do a little bit of world building. So, I think the first thing to realize with challenges is they're not an achievement. So what we traditionally know as an achievement might be something that takes a long time to almost grind, or it's a specific thing that players can do in the game And then once they've unlocked that achievement, then that's unlocked for their user or their their save forever. Whereas a challenge is more of I think of it as like a daily challenge. So the way there goes the floor.
Sorry.
So the way that the challenges actually work in Crayta is that each day 3 challenges will get randomly selected for your game. And if you have more than 3, what it will do is it will try and pick 3 new ones every day. So let's say you had 6, you'd get 3 that rotated every day. If you had 4 challenges in your game, it would pick 3. And the next day it would make sure that 4th one got included with 2 of the previous ones. So there's a bit of a cycle there. So that's that's the first thing to bear in mind, is it's not like a play the game for 1,000 hours or find every collectible, or I mean it could be that, but it's definitely more of a a challenge that players might want to come in and do one day. Once they finish the challenge, they might then come in the next day and do the same challenge again if it's available. So it's something that they can repeat as a challenge, not necessarily an achievement one-off in their game. And the kind of part of the reason that the players will be coming into your game to do a challenge, there's one area that we can't really talk too much about at the moment, but we've kind of highlighted in the message that we dropped on Discord last week, that it's going to start tying into certain things around progression, and there's the whole area there that, as I say, we can't talk too much about at the moment, but there's a definite kind of reason for players to be completing challenges there. But with what's currently live at the moment, players will be doing their best to compete for challenge trophies, is what we call them. So we can see here, I'll just come up into this area here. So one of the games that I make, Canyon Miners, has several challenges associated with it. And once you've played it enough, you'll kind of go through ranked levels. Let me just see, I believe if I go to the game card, we should be able to see if we can find it. Okay, so here's Canyon Miners. Okay, if I go across the challenges, so here we can see that today's 3 challenges are sell 60 gold in one go, claim a lucky dip prize, and to sell 90 silver in one go. So relatively straightforward things that you can achieve in one sitting. And you can see that I'm actually on Sapphire progress. So you'll rank up through levels essentially. So it'll go sort of bronze, silver, gold. I can't remember all the levels themselves, but the point is that each time you complete a challenge, you'll progress through. So you can see I've done 41 challenges essentially in Canyon Miners, and I've currently got a platinum rank, and I'm working my way towards Sapphire. So if I go to equip challenge trophy, I get to equip this on my hotbar. Okay, and then if I go to my sort of social emote, we can see that I've got Canyon Miners Tycoon as a thing I can do. Then if I select to do that, I get this nice orbit camera option, have a look around, and actually get to display and almost boast that information out to other players. So it comes around on the little ticker that platinum, what the game is, how many challenges I've finished, and also what my current streak is. So how many times I've kind of finished the challenges in a day. So that's kind of what challenges are for at the moment. So I guess what we could have a look to do now is have a little look at kind of how we add challenges to the game and how they sort of work in game. See, chat's pretty busy, which is good. Hopefully that's lots of suggestions.
It is.
Lethal Space Jungle.
I'm trying.
2 or 3 level design, mantle to change levels, or platform that raises lower. Okay, sounds like you're going to be nice and busy in the background anyway.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Damn
So
it,
I think
made this big enough.
I think the first thing I'm going to do here is just have a quick look. Let's just have a quick look here. So what we've got here is our sort of developer.crayta.com. It's our developer area. Now this is where you'll actually configure and set up challenges for your game. So it's you need to set them up through this sort of website. As I say, that's developer.crayta.com. And you'll log in with your Stadia details, and you'll be able to see all the games that you create, and then from there you can manage them. So if I just go to companion site here, it's worth noting there's a lot of things here that are definitely worth checking out. So things like the API docs, the forum is a good place to sort of have conversations and threads about various things like packages and games. Prize funds, so any information about the prize fund, including the latest information to do with the link that Adam shared before, that's all available through here. Let's go companion site, and what we'll get here is it's kind of like the main menu in game. So I can see all the games that are available to play and what's currently featured. I can go across to create. Okay, and from here, it's going to ask me to sign in. So let me just hide that screen for a sec. Okay, cool. So once I'm logged in, okay, so it'll give me, again, similar to in-game, I've got my games, what's archived, what's shared with me. But I can see my challenge TP game is here. So let's have a look. I get a whole load of options that I can do, including publishing the game, managing sort of leaderboards, images. But there's the challenges is one of the tabs. So let's go there. Okay, so we can see straight away that there's 3 challenges came with this game. So as I said, using starter games is actually a really nice way to get to grips with how challenges come together. If you're kind of struggling to see how the whole picture comes, obviously, hopefully you can use this sort of stream as an example, but also just getting a game made and starting to pull it apart is a really good way to do it as well. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So complete target practice 3 times. We just expand this. Okay, we get a few more options, and this is where we can really start to define how the challenges work. So we give it an ID. Okay, give it a display name, so that's how it will appear in the game. You can kind of set localized names depending on English, German, Spanish, Italian, and French. So again, really nice way to just kind of make your game even more sort of approachable and user friendly from a localization point of view. You can change the icon, so we've got a whole load of sort of predetermined icons you can pick from, and hopefully there's a good selection there that you can always find one relative kind of specific for the challenge you're looking to add. Whether it's active or not, so if we just see this here, this is whether the challenge can be seen by players. So if you might have a challenge in your game for some gameplay that isn't relevant anymore, but you don't want to delete the challenge, or it might be something that you're working on in the background perhaps, but this active flag basically determines whether it's available to be picked as one of the 3 random in the day. So there was an example recently in Canyon Miners where the donation event finished. I don't want to delete or remove the donation challenge, but actually I don't want Crayta to pick that as a challenge because the donation event isn't running anymore. So by unchecking that, I don't have to republish my game. I don't have to change any code, but I can just manage that in a way that I can say, right, let's not let that be selected. Okay, then we've got event name. So this is the important part. The event name is actually how we link the Lua, the code, to the challenge itself. So in this case, it's race-end. Okay, and the total to complete is 3. So this needs to be completed 3 times in order for it to actually trigger as finished on the front on the system. So as you saw, when I finished the race once, it gave me 1 out of 3, and then 2 out of 3. We can see here, complete the race under 30 seconds. It's quite similar. It uses the same event, so I'll dive into that a little bit when we get back into the code. It's got a different ID, and this has to be unique, so each ID has to be different. But the actual event name, a lot of challenges can all listen to the same event, and then it just depends what you pass through with that information as to how the system determines it. There's only 1 to complete, but this time you'll notice I've got some conditions. So we'll get more into this a little bit later, but basically what makes this different to the previous one is that was just listening for the event to happen, so for race end to happen. This time it's listening for race end to happen, but it's also going to check, okay, was the time less than 30 seconds? And then it will determine whether it's going to complete the challenge for you or not, or at least progress it. And the reason this is here is it's quite a nice way to be able to use sort of visual code, essentially, visual scripting, and you can start to do a lot of configuration of challenges through this web portal. And it just means that you don't actually have to publish a game, and you don't necessarily have to make changes to code in order to adjust the way that challenges behave. That's quite a nice way to kind of work through. And as always, it gives you kind of a pretty nice kind of written example down here of how it all comes together, just in case you're not quite sure what it is you've done. So it just explains here, complete target practice in under 30 seconds challenge will be updated if race end is received, so the event, with the time less than 30 seconds. And it even gives you a little example of the code that you're going to look to add in there. So what we can do now is we can jump back into the game and have a little look to see where we can find this send challenge event. Okay, how we're getting on in here. I see some Mountains have popped up pretty quick.
Yep. They wanted a space jungle honeycomb noodle something. So yeah, that's what we're getting. Oh, and a waterfall was mentioned.
Cool.
So there we go.
Okay. Just before we go any further, so hopefully this is starting to kind of whet people's appetite for some pretty interesting challenges they might want to add into their game. So we've got, as I say, a few mods here, but we've got one of our directors from the company who actually handles a lot of this sort of stuff within Crayta. I think John's around. I don't know if he wants to say hello in chat. John Payne there. So he's actually a really good person to ask questions about how to make challenges as good as possible. You know, what makes a good challenge. We'll try and explain a little bit later on, but it's definitely worth getting questions into chat now so we can kind of process them a bit perhaps. But yeah, now's the time to get your really awkward questions in for John. Okay, right. So where was I up to? Let's have a look at the scripts. Okay, so I'm going to go to the advanced mode. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open the race user script. Yeah, let's just close that. I'll make this a bit bigger so hopefully people can see it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and this is again, it's quite a nice way to just kind of close the loop on all this, is just quickly search send challenge. There we go. Okay. So we saw on the companion site that it was telling us that we're looking for a send, on a user entity. We want to send a challenge event with a race end or with an event and then some stats basically. So here we've got self get entity. So this is on the user. We know this is on the user because we can check our user template. Okay, we can go to race user and we can see that race user script is on there. Hopefully you can see that. So what that's telling me is that obviously anything on this in the script folder is attached to the user entity. So self get entity, send challenge data. That's our call in the API to basically just kind of throw it at the system and say, right, there's a challenge been done in game. The event is race end. Thanks, Adam.
Just helping you out a little bit there.
A little bit of collaborative commenting. So race end has been done, so that's the event we're listening for. Oops, bring that back. And then we pass in a table here of stats. So for example, stats. I think this is done in quite a generic way, so it might work across various game modes. So there's certain things here like deaths, which we're including, which we don't necessarily need for the challenges we've got, but that's available there to be hooked into. You can pass any other information you want to in here just by adding it to this stats table. We'll see that we get the race time. So that's all worked out up here. It's working out kind of how long it took us to do the race. But we're passing that as part of the stats. So then we're saying, I'll just pull up the API here. So you can pass it without the stats. You can just pass in in this case, for example, race end. You don't have to pass in the stats. It's just if you want to process any numbers or any data in the back end, that's the place to do it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It's just a one-line thing to add. So that might be that you've already written quite a lot of a game, and you've already got quite a lot of game logic written, and you want to add challenges now. There's not a huge amount of work involved in terms of Lua to actually get the challenges working. It'd just be a case of setting them up through the companion site, and then just on any user that actually finishes the challenge, you want to call this send challenge event. So that's quite straightforward. What we could do now, I think, I don't know if you've got anywhere with that lever that I'd mentioned, Adam.
No, not yet.
But don't worry if not. If you want to start adding that, I think let's just make a quick new example of making our own custom challenge. So nothing to do with racing, but let's just minimize this. So I'm going to add a new challenge. Okay, and this challenge we're going to give it an ID, and it's going to be Liverpool. I'm going to call this pull the lever. So not a particularly exciting challenge, but hopefully it's just a nice, quick, straightforward example of how it all works. I wouldn't necessarily take this as an example of a good challenge, unless the lever was to do something interesting or it was slightly hidden or something.
Okay, we've got a pull lever script.
Cool. Let's have a look for a challenge. That sword kind of looks like a lever. Let's go for that. Okay. It's got the sort of the swish lines. It looks like a lever being pulled. It's a sword lever. Okay, the event name. So this is what we're actually going to use with the lure. So we'll have this as lever underscore pulled. Okay, and we'll set the total to complete as 1. So you only actually need to complete that once for that to work. Okay, and when we're ready, we hit save challenges down here. And there we go. So let's just click back and forth, let that reload, and we can see here that we've got pull the lever as a new active challenge. So let's just copy lever pulled. We're going to want that in our game. And let's just return to the game. Okay, so we've got this lever in the middle. Nicely done. Okay. Challenge lever script. So let's have a look in here. So Adam's just written a quick script for us, which will basically, I guess, each time we interact with it, it's just going to flip back and forth. So what we want to do is actually, when let's say the first time it activates, that's the first time it's been pulled by this player, we want to get the user entity and actually call this event. So we've got the player. We know that from a player we can get a user. Okay, and now it's just the same as having the user entity with self get entity. We can say send challenge event, allow pasting. Okay, so lever pulled. So we're going to say for this, the player that's interacted with this, that user, let's send the challenge event that they've pulled the lever. Okay, and that's all we need to do there. I guess we need to hook that up to on interact.
Yes, we do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't do that bit.
Why not do that? We'll do it through the events. Okay, so when a user interacts with this, it's going to call the pull lever function. And what that's going to do is that's going to pull the lever here, and it's going to call our challenge event. Okay, let's have a quick preview then if you're ready.
Yeah, go for it. The world looks amazing, doesn't it?
It looks great. I like the bright red rocks. They're my favorite.
Yeah, that's honeycomb, but with the color grading, it's really red.
Cool. Okay, so I just pulled the lever and we can see that down in the right hand side now that I've got that challenge completed. Okay. What we can also do while we're in the editor is press O to bring up our console, and then if you press Alt to kind of unlock the mouse, you'll get a couple of tabs appear up here. And you'll notice that there's a challenges tab on here as well. So what this does is this gives us the information we need to basically debug certain things around the challenges, to let you know the information that you want. So you don't have to keep jumping back to the companion site necessarily. So if you can't remember what an ID is, or what the event's called, or what conditions are involved, then this is the place you can kind of jump in and see. You can also see here that I've got pull the lever 1 of 1, and if I click refresh challenges, what that does is that kind of resets it. So if I'm testing something, I can now do it again. Okay, right, yeah, that did complete. I saw the notification that told me it completed, and I can check here as well. So just a little tool there that hopefully helps with kind of getting challenges to be testable and debuggable. What's also worth mentioning at this point is when you're in the editor preview, it'll actually allow you to finish all of the challenges. So whereas I mentioned before that when you're playing a game, you only get 3 challenges per day associated with that game. Actually, when you're previewing your own game or a game that has challenges, in the preview session, you get all of the challenges available to test, because it'd be really annoying if you only got 3 to test per day. So that's that. Let's jump back to there, and then it's really quick and simple. So let's think, actually that was quite an easy challenge. So let's say they need to do it 5 times. Okay, it's up to you what you want to call it. You might want to call the thing pull the lever 5 times, or you might just want to have it as pull the lever and then kind of have the system determine like kind of make it clear. It depends how explicit you want to be in the naming, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let's say that's 5 and we save. Okay, and then we return to our game and let's just preview again. So what we should see now is each time I preview with this, okay, I get a challenge updated. So pull the lever 1 of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's a nice way to sort of stagger that into different thing. I think Adam's just dropped. So let me just.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Share.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. There we are. You can come and go as you wish now.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's how quick and easy it is to sort of set up challenges, and actually it's just a simple 1 line of code to fire it off. It might take a bit more code around determining when the player has finished it in your game, but once you know a player or once a user has finished a challenge, it's really quite straightforward to manipulate some of that data. Catching up with chat, seems like there's a lot of questions coming through, so that's good. Keep John and Chris busy. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the API. So, in fact, what might be good here is to go to the companion site and have a quick look. Okay, so we've got our API docs. Just pull these up. Let's do a search on this page. Okay, so there's a few things that we can do here. So there's on challenge updated. So this is kind of things that you could perhaps do in game. So you will automatically get the prompt appear at the side to say that the sort of at a system level that a challenge is updated or finished. But actually you might want to hook into that in your game and kind of do some processing around it that way. Okay, and then we've got these ones which are quite useful, quite fun things to do. Obviously the sort of sending the events we know about, but the get challenge progress. So what you can do with get challenge progress is actually determine a user's progress through a challenge in game. So what that allows us to do is run certain things in game based on kind of their progress through the challenges in a day. So again, Canyon Miners, if anyone's played that recently, you'll have seen that the store now gives you a sort of a bonus on your sold items based on the amount of challenges you've finished. So let's say I finished all 3 challenges for the day. I think at the minute you get sort of a two times bonus or something on all of the things that you sell in the store. So you can kind of close the loop there a little bit. So another reason players might want to finish challenges in your game is to give them a small bonus, all that sort of stuff. I think what I might have a little look at now, I don't know what you think, Adam, it's just something simple like once you've finished all of the challenges you get a trail on the player or something.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think that'd be quite straightforward. So do you want to maybe have a little quick look at getting something in place that, you know, if we trigger it on a player, it puts an effect on them?
Sure, will do.
And what I will do,
after I move this bit of wall.
In fact, and in the same script, if we do that on the user, I think that makes the most sense. So let's just add a new script to the user. We'll call this user challenge script. Okay, so what we'll maybe do here is we'll run through and we will basically just get the challenge progress for the game. So the other part of the API to really explain here, I guess, is I think it's on the world. Get active challenges. There we go. Okay, so obviously for this to work, you need to know which challenges are active in the game. So you can do that on the world entity. So if you just simply do get world get active challenges. That's going to return you a kind of a table of the current challenges that are available in your game. And then what you can do is after you've basically got all the active challenges for the day, you can then poll against the user to say, okay, of the active challenges, have they finished them? So let's get that. Okay. So active challenges. Just double check the API on that. So it gets the current active challenges example. So it returns the ID, the name, the icon, and the count to complete for a given challenge. Okay, so if we just do a loop through that table. I've got a script, user challenge script, Adam. I don't know if you want to jump in and do any sort of trail logic in here, or if we just do it on the user, but whenever you're ready.
Well, I've set up the trails on the player.
Okay.
So there should be 2 trails, one that attaches to each hand, hopefully.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Let me just make that actually true. So all we need to do is call activate trail on those 2 trails. So we need to, what do we need to do here? Can an event from the user reference its own player only?
I don't think so.
Remember.
No, I think you need to pass it specifically to the player. Right, so in the logic here,
find out.
Oh yeah. I'll let you work that one out.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to work out. Okay, so for each challenge that's active today, so we're going to loop through them. Has the user, or is that just so you can save the script?
Yes, it was, so I can see my property.
Cool. Has the user, how much progress has the user made through this? So we can see that on the user entity, actually, that needs to be self get entity. Get challenge progress requires a string, which is the challenge ID. So that was that unique ID that we had before. And that's why it has to be unique, is because when we refer to it, we need to make sure that we're referring to a specific challenge and not more than one. Okay, and we know that the challenge that we're currently looking at in this for loop has an ID associated with it. Okay, what we also know from that challenge is the count required. So let's say, let's have another variable here, which is just challenges completed. Okay, let's start that at 0. Okay, so now we can say if progress is equal to challenge.count, then, okay, whoops. So if
I think my bit's done.
Your bit's done, cool. So if the amount of challenge that amount of progress that a user's made on a challenge is equal to the count of the challenge, then we know that they've completed it. So let's just update our challenges completed. Let's just add 1 to that. Okay, so we know that they've actually finished this extra challenge. By the time we're out of this for loop, we should have counted up the amount of challenges this player has finished. So if the challenges completed is now equal to the length of our active challenges. So let's say there's only 1 active challenge because they've only got 1 challenge active in the game. It should be, it should be 1, 2, or 3, but this is just a way to guard against there being less than 3. But if we've completed the same amount of active challenges, then we know that this player has actually finished. So what is it you wanted me to do here, Adam? Just pull on challenges completed.
That's the one. And with a bit of luck, it'll work.
With a bit of luck, it will work. If not, we'll come and throw some print statements in. But hopefully that makes sense. So I'll just quickly go through that again. So when a user, well, this is only going to happen when a user initializes. So that's not going to be smart, is it? What we can do instead is let's just throw that in a little schedule.
This may not be the world's most interesting target practice, but it's going to be a wacky environment.
I'm sure it is. Okay, so let's just get a little loop that's gonna just say that there's 1,000 different ways you can do this, but let's just do this the quickest, cheapest way. Okay, so we're going to check this every second. Essentially, we'll go through and check. Every second we'll poll if the user's finished all the challenges or not. You could use the on challenge updated script function. There's lots of different ways you could do it, but this should do it. So every second we're basically going to say get all the active challenges, start a counter at 0, and then for every challenge that we get, let's check the user's progression using the challenge ID, check if the progress is equal to the count, and then if it is, we increment our counter, and then if the amount of challenges we finished is equal to the length of our active challenges, i.e. how many active challenges there are, then we call Adam's funky activate trail function. So with any luck, should we see if we've done that?
Yeah, sure. The thing may be impossible to complete. Does that matter for this? It might.
Yes, it will be.
Okay. It's just because I left that leaderboard right in the way.
Okay. All I was going to say is
what
I could do is deactivate some of the things. So let's turn off the accuracy.
That's no problem.
3 times. So we should, I think the active flag will carry across the editor. So it should just be that we've got to complete target practice in under 30 seconds and we've got to pull the lever 5 times. Save that. I think that will carry across. Let's see. Might just want to go back to edit and let that refresh.
Oops, sorry.
Okay. There we are. Right. Okay. So let's just check. Oh, there's the first mistake I made with that. So that's the console telling me that get challenge progress isn't, you can't do that on the server. So let's just change that to client in it. So anytime you want to get the challenge progress for a user, so anytime you're calling this, you need to make sure you're actually on the client itself, not on the server. Got a feeling get active challenges needs to be on the server. I think this has tripped me up in the past, but let's bear with it. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it seems to be a happy, so that's fine. Okay, looks like they're all still there, so we still need to do them all anyway, perhaps. Let's go.
Boop. Oh, the lever 5 times, damn it.
Yeah, we've got to mash that interact. Okay. Oh, you've added more targets.
I have. Oh no, where have I put the end?
The end's back down here.
Where is the end?
It's back at the bottom of the stairs.
Of course.
Still. Oh no, I missed. That's my accuracy.
Okay. I did it. 100% accuracy.
Yeah, I missed that. So you need to finish the race 3 times as well.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't have made it such a pain then, should I?
No, maybe not. Okay, I think that was my, so that's my accuracy.
Yeah.
So I just need to finish it one more time. And if everything works... Oh, and I've got trails on my hands. Nice.
Hey.
So at that point...
hands are together.
Yeah. So that was the game determining that we've basically finished all the challenges, and therefore we're going to give our player a little trail for the day. And then each time the player logged back into the game that day, it would remember that they finished the challenges because we're saving that sort of in the background. Oh, there we go. Nice double trail. With that's kind of saved into the system, so a player can then gloat for the day. They can come back and play the game and have funky trails or shop bonuses or whatever it is that you would kind of like to add to the player. But hopefully, again, that's quite a nice little use case of some of those API tricks. It'd be interesting to see what else other people can think of to do gameplay wise, but that's just one thought. Okay. So whittling through all this quite quickly. If anyone has any suggestions in chat for a good challenge for us to try and add now, do let us know. We'll see about adding those.
Otherwise, you can help me with this incredible environment that I'm making.
I could do.
Which is hugely important, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just have a quick look through. So I think what I basically got left to talk about is some of the things to think about kind of what makes a good challenge. But it seems like there's been quite a lot of conversation going on in chat about that, which is quite nice. So I'm not sure I've got a huge amount to add. Seems like John, it's definitely being put through his paces. So I can see something about canyon miners there. The data complete X. Yeah, some of the canyon miners challenges might not be amazing. They might be going against some of the advice you're getting from John, which is fine. That makes sense. Kind of a bit of a lone wolf on that project. So there's certain things I'm learning from for sure. And I think that, again, that's kind of the beauty of game dev, is that you don't necessarily get things right. It's just about putting the right things in place to learn about how the players are playing the game. And there's various challenges I've had in my mind, or written down on notepads that I've not quite implemented, and it's probably for the best because they might have been too difficult or too easy or not necessarily engaging. But yeah, seems like there's quite a lot going on there. So what I might do is, as I say, let us know if there's any challenges you'd like to see us specifically try and add. Sky's the limit to a degree. It's a pretty flexible and free system. But is there anything you'd like me to help with here, Adam, in this amazing environment? So what? Let me just move.
I mean, it is something, isn't it? It really is something.
I'm just going to move the end to the actual end. Good start.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, setting up the actual race would be good because I've made a bit of a mess of that. Just trying to make this waterfall idea. It's a good question. I mean, have we got any actual fun challenges that we've added other than pulling a lever? Like, is there like a good sort of challenge we can add based on what John's been telling people, based on what you've been saying about like making good challenges?
That's a good point. So I think, again, with target practice, it's a little bit tricky perhaps because with the way the sort of where we're at the minute, there's not a huge amount of gameplay elements to it. So obviously you can only really make challenges out of what elements you've got. Although we did introduce a whole new thing with the exciting lever in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, we could always just add a bunch of hidden levers. That is in itself an interesting challenge, isn't it? It's like a bit of an Easter egg. Find each of the things.
I think I'm a little bit scared of contradicting everything all the amazing advice he's probably giving. John says this, we show something completely different. But yeah, I think just a bit I can see here. So things that's good, that it's like things that you can do in a single session are always good. So obviously you want to make sure that players can do it. It's not something they have to preempt too much. So perhaps where the canyon miners one suffers a little bit is that you need to mine gold and get like 60 gold to sell in one go. But that's actually going to take you, especially the higher the prestige level, that's going to potentially take you a couple of hours plus. That's going to be several hours to actually get that. So I think on the back of this, that might be a good one. I think that's a pretty good way to sort of engage with the sort of feedback we're getting here, and see about reducing the amount of time that takes, or have a bit of an overhaul of challenges and add some new stuff. So I think making sure that you can finish things in one or a couple of sessions perhaps. So if it's not a case of setting an alarm to get back into the game 8 hours later, you might want to make sure challenges are achievable and fun. I think is the key thing. I don't know if there's anything you want to add with that sort of list of general things to look out for, Adam.
I think it's been covered, hasn't it? I mean, John's answered a hell of a lot of questions in chat there.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to keep up with everything and not go over old ground. Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two categories of challenges in a way. There's the ones that complement the gameplay. So, for example, what we've got here with like finish a race with 100% accuracy and stuff, that adds to the gameplay, right? And then there's the other type of challenges, which are the sort of things that we've seen in games like Alpha and kind of in a very crude way, like our lever, where they add new gameplay essentially.
Yeah.
Because obviously Alpha is a shooter game, but one of the challenges is find all the ducks, and that's not anything to do with the shooter. That's like an Easter egg. So that's it. It's a really nice way to add depth to your game and add something extra for the creator, for the players who've like already maxed out everything you can do with the normal mechanics.
Yeah.
It gives them that little bit extra to do. So it's definitely worth thinking of both types of challenges when you're making your game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you've kind of got challenges that will help people perhaps progress through or get better at the game. You've also got things that are just almost like little things to sprinkle on top to kind of gauge their interest and make them explore the map. I think a lot of collection based challenges are a really nice way to get people to sort of really search the map and search kind of different areas. Um, challenges that help people play the game slightly differently as well. So I think Prop Hunt's got some interesting challenges, and I think one of them is to stay as a human for like a whole 60 seconds or something.
It is, yeah. I can't remember what that one's called, but it's stay out of disguise basically. Because the
Yeah.
whole point of prop hunt is you change into a prop as soon as you can and go and hide in a room and then move around when your timer goes. But it's quite fun. Like sometimes people might want to taunt the hunter by being a human and like doing a dance or something near them. But to make that an actual challenge gives it a little bit more depth to that mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's just nice ways to get people to play your game slightly differently. So especially things that are like a round based where it might be that after several rounds you kind of getting the same gameplay experience. Challenges are a nice way to really throw into the mix, like, okay, we'll now try and play it in a slightly different way. The one thing I just thought of, I remembered back when I had a look through the lure that we've got the it tracks the amount of deaths and it seems to be passing that through in the stats. So why don't we add so this is classic target practice, but why don't we add a sort of obstacle course type thing? So where you've got this straight run
Oh
at
yeah.
the end, we could make it so you actually also have to finish without dying, and that's something that might spruce up our target practice to be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all.
So
I've added some trees. Should we pull in something like the obby components? Because I think that had swinging axes and stuff that was very easy to set up.
yeah, can do. If you want to grab that, let me just check.
Yep.
Yeah, so the user's already got the health script attached to it, which comes sort of with the stock. So we've got the capacity to kill the players. I'm not sure how I guess all the stuff should be in place for them to respawn as well. Yeah, spawn script. Okay, let's see how we go. Respawn's active. So again, it's quite nice with challenges is to just make something simple and then see what sort of things you can come up with. So is it obby components? Yeah, so you can find
I've downloaded the package. Yeah.
cool. You can find that in the community tab. So this is quite a useful one actually. We made on stream quite a while ago now, but it's essentially just a bunch of different things to make some quite fun obstacles to muck about with. So let's have a look at what we get with that package. Okay, so obby components. Okay, cool. So I think anything obstacle underscore is a version of one of the things. So let's obstacle swinging axe.
That's a nice one.
Pretty big one.
What else have we got? Collision blast. That might be quite fun to put on. Probably nearer the start, so it's not quite so harsh if you get blasted away.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, and that comes in as a landmine as well. So that sort of makes sense.
Nice.
And we're saying these will kill you as well.
Yeah, can do. Or we could raise the death Z up to basically make it so if you fall off the platforms,
Oh, okay. That's going
Maybe.
to stop the waterfall dive, but that's fine. We didn't need it.
Maybe that suits you.
I mean, either that or we add a death trigger like everywhere else. No, raise the death Z. Why not? Ooh, fog.
Yeah, just trying to think of a way. Maybe I'll to make it like a death fog if you fall off the. Off there. This is getting some weird colours now. Ooh. Bit much, maybe.
That's very red fog. Maybe tone that down a little bit.
Needs to look sinister.
That's cool. That's quite sinister, but it's also quite low. We could always raise the whole terrain. Oh no, but then it defeats the point of the death plane.
Yeah, so I mean I'm just gonna put out like let's do like minus
There, that kind of works.
100. Trying to think. In fact, no, it's going to be above 0, isn't it? Where's
Okay, so are we saying, I don't know, you can make a new locator outside of terrain, which I've just done, and then you can use that. That's like an absolute Z position. So this is Z equals 0 where those lines are. If you
okay?
select it and
Yeah.
make sure guidelines are on.
So if the death Z is 0, then we should be okay.
Yes,
Or
I'll
should
raise
we-
up the start area a tiny bit.
Yeah, raise up a touch. Okay, we'll get back to the challenges in a moment once we've designed our gameplay. But I think these should just work out
There
the
we go.
box, shouldn't they? They shouldn't need activating, I don't think. I think they all control their own activation.
Yeah, they should work. I think the axes and the landmines in particular should just work. Other things, I think they all do.
Cool.
So we'll turn off the damage on the landmine.
Yes, yes. It's just going to knock
And we'll
you
just
around.
have it bounce you.
Oh, that would be quite a fun way, actually. So we made a pretty boring challenge out of pulling the lever, but now actually to get to the lever could be pretty dangerous.
Okay. How do we go about doing that? Do we put like something bigger swinging, like a tree or something upside down, and have it really slow, so you have to try and like get past it on time?
Let's.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, you're gonna go for it. Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, vanishing platforms. That was a pretty fun one as well.
So that's our swinging thing. But then we can change it out to not be an axe. We could go for. I mean, is a tree too much? No.
Answered your own question.
Yeah. This one may be too much though. Zoom out a bit.
Wow. Just get that.
Okay, you know what?
Stomp down every so often.
What I'm actually going to do is create like a hammer voxel mesh, but then give it the bounce script instead, so it bounces you far away. So it looks like the hammer like knocks you.
Sure.
Oh, and it needs a trigger that activates it. I'll just make that big.
Cool. I'm just having a play with the walls that will disappear and appear at random times.
Okay, so our hammer.
Are we going to accidentally make another like Adam Ray jobby that everyone wants to play?
Yeah, that is potential. Right.
While you do that, I'm just going to quickly skim through chat just in case there's any interesting things.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, we've kind of gone off on a bit of an obstacle course thing now.
A bit of a tangent. In fact, yeah, while you do that, let me do what the whole point of this was. So if I go back to here, we can see that we're tracking the number of deaths, self-dot deaths. Now let's assume that that's actually a number that's being tracked. If not, we might have to just do a little bit of hooking up. But if that's working, let's go and see. So we already know that's being passed to our race end event. So if I just jump across to, where is it? I lost it. Here we go. So let's add a new challenge. Okay, and it will be no deaths. Okay, it will be finish the race without dying. And pretty good. I think the skull seems like a pretty appropriate one. Event name. So let's use the same race end. We only want to do this once. Okay, so as this stands, the only thing that's different between this and complete 3 times, for example, is the ID, because it's still listening to the same event. And we remember this one has no conditions. This is just listening for the race end to happen. Whereas this time we actually need to interrogate the conditions, the things that come with it. So we only want to finish this if we're listening for a number. Okay, the parameter is deaths, which we can see here in script. So this here, time and deaths, are the 2 things that we're currently tracking as a variable that we can use in the condition. Okay, if it's equal to 0, there we are. So, and again, it all kind of auto completes and gives me like a nice human readable thing to say that this will pass if the deaths equals 0. So finish the race without dying challenge will be updated if race end is received with deaths equal to 0. And then again, that's the code we would need. And we can see here that it's telling us that we need to have in a table that deaths equal the value. Let's remember to always save those challenges. Let's return back so we can see that we've got the sort of those 2 curly braces, and it's just been put into a different table called stats with other information. Okay, so in theory, that's everything set up now. So as you'll notice, I've not had to change the code. I can add that challenge to the game and make it active without actually republishing or changing code. So that's something to bear in mind, is if you write the code in such a way that you're tracking lots of information about your game and passing that to a sort of one given event, as long as it makes sense. So in this case, race end makes sense to call every time the race ends. You can then craft and define and update challenges through the companion site and have them kind of update on the fly. So don't forget, once a game has had its 3 challenges selected for the day, then that's sort of set in stone. But if you wanted to make a change to the challenges for kind of the up and coming days and beyond, then that's a really nice way to gate it, to sort of dynamically update the way that players will play with your game, and not necessarily have to jump into the editor and be doing any sort of fiddling with code or republishing. Wow, what is this?
This is amazing gameplay mechanics, is what that is.
Is it working? Will it work?
Maybe. We can try it.
Okay, I'm going to hit preview. Okay, so let's just check to start with that we've got our finish the race without dying is available there as a challenge. Okay, we've made the interaction a little bit more annoying because there's
What have you done?
walls appear in the way randomly. Oh, and then you've just blown us up. Okay. Right, so I'm not going to finish the challenge now because I died. So
1 sec, we've got that damage thing on. Do you mind if I turn off the damage indicator?
Yeah, if you want to go back.
Just realised that some. So that is the usual player crosshair widget line 133. Can you tell I've done it before? Remove the blur. Done. Back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Try and make it.
So if one of us gets hit,
what is that hammer going to do?
It bounces both of us.
Oh, what? It's like bounces all players.
Yeah, it just does like a big launch on everyone, I think, because it's similar to the landmine thing.
Go. Right, got it.
I'm
going.
I've managed to pull the lever once.
Made it. Oh, I didn't hit any of the targets. I completely forgot about that side of the game. I just ran across the finish line and was like, why haven't I finished? Oh no, missed. That's that challenge done. Oh, and then I ran into the axe. Okay, so we've made our game instantly more stressful.
Four.
Which one?
Damn it, I got that one. 5
think it's-
and 6.
Oh, I started again. Oh, it's all going wrong.
And over the finish line.
Oh, the wall almost blocked me.
Well, I managed to complete the target practice. I managed to pull the lever 5 times. I did not have full accuracy. And then I can jump into the waterfall to die.
Oh,
Nice.
So
How is this not already a game
yeah,
that like everyone plays?
that's it. Are we gonna have to publish it? Oh, I missed the first shot. Okay, never mind. Did you get a challenge completed for not dying, or did you die?
I died.
Okay.
I must have died at some point. Unless it's not working. I'll do it without dying this time. In fact, that's a point. I don't think I did die.
Oh,
Oops.
Oh, I'm in with the lever.
Oh, I'm still alive.
Oh, I've already finished that challenge. The walls saved me. Axe. Right, go back.
5 and 6. And now how do I get back?
How do you get back?
What? Yeah.
Where did you go?
I took an unordinary route. Made it. I went all around the wall
Oh,
because
nice.
I got blasted all the way over there, but the death plane didn't kill me.
Cool. I didn't get the finish race without dying.
No, I didn't get that. So where should that happen?
So that's just using what was already passed in. It might be that it's not hooked up. This is where we get to the point where we do stuff that we didn't test part of the stream. Johnson mentioned to make sure you can restart the no die challenge by restarting the target shoot. Yeah, so if I die, I guess I could always go back across the start line.
Yeah, and that's a really good point for challenges again, that you don't want to make any challenges that are impossible to do. So things like don't die at all today, like impossible to do once you fail it once, basically. So if a challenge was don't die at all today and you end up dying, then that's going to be a pretty rubbish challenge for that person because they're not going to be able to undo that. So it should be something that's always going to be achievable for them in that day. The other thing on that note, I guess, is if you have, for example, timed events. Say, I think you already mentioned this, Russ, actually with Canyon Miners, didn't you? But if there was like a, what have you got, like your lucky dip thing, and say you're going to
Yes.
take away the lucky dip next week, you shouldn't have a challenge that's still there next week saying claim a lucky dip prize, or if it's only on every other day or something, that shouldn't be a challenge because you don't know when it's going to come up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the reason, sorry, the reason that the companion site is a really nice way to do it is that once I know that that's going to disappear, perhaps I don't need to republish the game. I can just make it not active on the companion site, or just remove the challenge entirely. Probably making it inactive is probably the better choice because then you can just easily bring it back. But yeah, you can kind of, it's worth bearing in mind that if your game evolves over time, then make sure that the challenges are still kind of up to date and achievable. Right, so we should, I can see in the console that we're getting that. So let's just have a quick look into what self.
So what are we looking for in the console?
It says race deaths. Oh, race death, which basically tells us that on user died got called.
Oh, okay.
And that
Yeah,
seems
apparently
to be
I had
fine.
3, but I don't think I died unless I just haven't.
It
cleared the
could,
console.
yeah, it could just be that we didn't reset properly. But let me just check. I've got that right. So, where were the stats? So stats deaths, it should now print out whatever they are before we add it, so we can double check. Right, now maybe let's just try and not die. We always manage to set ourselves up on the streams for these sorts of things.
Oh, I made it.
Oh, go away, wall. Oh, okay. Oh, I got knocked onto the mountains. It saved me.
Yeah, that's what I did last time. You might actually find it easier than getting past this axe.
Oh, but my challenge progress started. I mean, my target progress started again.
Okay, I reached the end and I got complete it 100% accuracy, complete the practice in under 30 seconds, and complete it 1 out of 3 times. But I didn't see. It says stats deaths equals 0, but it doesn't. I haven't got finish race without dying.
Okay, right. Let me just double check that then. Could well be something I've done in the condition. Oh, I think I know what I've done.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's looking for deaths plural. Oh no, I've put deaths plural.
Where are you sending this from? Which script?
So in the same script where we say Self-get entities challenge race end stats.
Yeah, which script? I don't know what
Oh,
script.
sorry, race user script.
Okay.
line 135.
Yep.
So, and you saw stats deaths
I
equals
see.
0.
I did see stats deaths equals 0.
Okay.
I mean, can we do a less than 1? That might just be a little bit safer if there's any rounding error or anything like that.
That's true. Yeah, okay, we'll change it. We'll try it that way. This might just be a nuance of the way I've done it. So we're looking for a number, and if deaths, that number is less than 1. Save.
Okay, so finish the race without dying.
If I can't get this to work, it's probably just down to the way I've done it, but the principle's there. Hopefully that makes sense.
I think I've spotted it. You've got event name on the challenge part of the website as race_end, but you look like you're sending race-end.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Oh,
there we go. Got to watch out for these things.
Okay, so race-end, and I'd put race_. Oh, well, that could have saved us a lot of time. There we are. Well, there you go. I guess there's a top tip. If you're ever working with challenges, then do make sure that your events hook up. So it's, if it's not working, then the first thing to check will be that the event name is correct. So race-end stats. Okay, let's do this one more time. So
Drycoast just asked, if someone joins your game and quits after a few seconds, is that considered a fail for all challenges? So I think you shouldn't think about challenges as having a fail. You just haven't passed them, and then you do pass them, essentially. So when you join the game, you haven't passed any. If you quit, then you still haven't passed them, but you can always come back into the game and then complete them. For example, if we publish this absolute masterpiece that we've just crafted, I could go in, get knocked off by the hammer, like Russ. You don't have to act out what I'm saying. I could go in, get knocked out by the hammer, get really upset, close Crayta, come back in 2 hours, and then complete all the challenges, and that's fine. That hammer's a bit annoying, isn't it?
Hey, there we go. Okay, finish the race without dying, completed. Now I've got the proper event name on there.
Whee! Hit all targets first. Oh yeah, I forgot to shoot anything.
I'll keep doing that. Yeah, cool. Okay, all right. Well, I think we're kind of coming up to a natural stopping point anyway. I think we add any more to this and we're going to spoil its beauty. So I think that's probably a good place to wrap that up. Gone through all my notes. So yeah, I think we'll leave that there. I'll do a little outro. But thanks for joining again, Adam. We'll see about.
It's good fun.
Maybe this is just a fun little thing we'll throw out for people to run through. Maybe not. We'll see. So cool. Okay, thanks again. I'll catch up with you later.
See ya.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully that's been a useful stream for everybody. As I say, there's quite a lot of information there thrown at you. It seems like there's a lot of questions been asked in the chat, which has been really nice. If you do have any more questions or anything that you didn't get a chance to ask, or anything that you kind of perhaps didn't quite understand in the response, then do make sure you head over to our Discord and join us over there on discord.gg/Crayta. It's a really great place to keep up to date with all the stuff that's going on, to communicate with the community. We've got a really great community building up over there, and it's the place that kind of us devs are most active. So you can really kind of one-to-one have a chat with us, ask through challenge stuff, ask about Lua help, UI help, kind of looking for feedback on your games. We run a feedback session every Friday, so you can actually jump in with us on a Discord chat, and we can talk through games in a big group. It's a really fun way to get a load of people playing your games as well. We've actually got a tutorial already on YouTube around challenges, so if someone could share that, that'd be really good. I think Adam, you've got the link there somewhere. But yeah, so that would be a really good resource to go back to. So as well as this stream archive, you've also got Andy's tutorial that he did. We've also obviously on Twitter and Instagram. They're really good places to keep up to date with everything happening in Crayta. So they're at Crayta Game on both of those platforms. And then finally, make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube. As always, we're kind of back here every Tuesday with a different stream. Sometimes they're like this, where we go through a bunch of different sort of things to do with how to play Crayta and how Crayta is working, or it's an update to do with what you can expect to see in the future in Crayta, or we just play games. We have sort of play along sessions, and we can sort of all jump together using the state share beta links to kind of hang out in game. Cool. So as I said, make sure you go over to Discord and join us to ask any more questions to do with challenges. And also, it's a really great place to keep up to date with the latest stuff that's happening, especially with regards to announcements around challenges and progression systems and prize funds and all that sort of stuff. So I'd really highly recommend heading over to Discord and joining us over there. In the meantime, yeah, as I say, have a great week, and I'll see you in the stream next week.